Hi children, once again welcome back to science class. Today we are going to discuss a new lesson, chapter 12, reproduction in plants. All the living organisms including plants and animals have the capability to produce new individuals during their lifespan. This process of producing a new organism from the existing organism or the parent of the same species is called reproduction. The new individuals produced are the copies of their parents. The process of reproduction is one of the important life processes and is essential for the continuity of the species. Thus, reproduction makes the life continuous, which is not only essential for the survival of an organism, but it is also very necessary for the perpetuation and preservation of the species because it increases the number of members of a species. Next, modes of reproduction. The various parts of a plant such as roots, stem and leaves, each with a specific function, is called vegetative parts. After a certain period of growth, plants bear flowers. These flowers develop into fruits and seeds. The parts of a plant that participate in the process of sexual reproduction are called reproductive parts or organs. In plants, the reproductive parts are a flower which may have the male or female part or both the parts on the same flower. Different organisms reproduce in a different way. In plants, there are two different methods of reproduction. They are asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. The term sexual means involving the fusion of sex cells or gametes, while asexual means without involving the fusion of gametes. Next, asexual reproduction. The process in which only one parent is involved in the production of new individuals of the same kind is called asexual reproduction. In plants, asexual reproduction results in the formation of offsprings or new plants without seeds or spores. Asexual reproduction in plants occurs through the following methods. First one, vegetative propagation, budding, fragmentation and spore formation. First one is vegetative propagation. It is a formation of new plants from vegetative units of bud, stem, etc. These vegetative units are called propagules. Vegetative reproduction may take place using various plant parts. Vegetative reproduction by stem. The stem or branches of the plant normally bear buds in the axils. The bud that are present in the axil or point of attachment of a leaf at the node that develops into the shoot. These are called vegetative buds. The vegetative buds can give rise to a new plant. These buds consist of a short stem around which immature overlapping leaves are folded. These can produce a new plant by vegetative propagation. There are different methods for vegetative reproduction by stem. New plants are obtained from the stem by the cutting method. In this method, the small part of stem is removed by making a cut with a sharp knife. The stem cutting must have some buds on it. Now the lower end of the stem cutting is buried in the moist soil. The upper part of cutting having bud on it is kept above the soil. After few days, this cutting develops new roots. The bud grows and produces a shoot. Thus, a new plant is produced which is exactly similar to the parent plant. Example, rosa, chamba, grapes, sugarcane, banana, etc. Another method of vegetative reproduction in stems is by layering. In this method, a mature branch of parent plant is bent down and covered with the soil. The tip of the plant is kept above the ground. The root develops from the branches and grows into a new plant. Layering method is usually done in the plants that have a long and slender branches. Example, jasmine. Vegetative reproduction by leaves. When the leaves of some plants are buried into the moist soil, the cut edges or margins of leaves develop a new plant that resembles to the parent. Example, bryophyllum. Next is vegetative reproduction by roots and bulbs. In some plants like sweet potato, dahlia, etc., a new plant develops through their roots and bulbs. Plants like cacti produce new plants when their parts get detached from the main plant body. Each detached part can grow into a new plant. What are the advantages of vegetative propagation? Plants produced with vegetative reproduction takes less time to grow and bear flower and fruits earlier than those produced from seeds. The new plants are the exact copies of parent plant because they are produced from a single parent. Next is budding. In this process, a daughter individual is formed from a small projection on parent body called a bud. Most of the fungus like yeast reproduced by budding. Yeast grow and multiply every few hours if provided with sufficient nutrients and favorable condition. Next is fragmentation. Some algae like Spirogyra that are present in water bodies that reproduce by fragmentation. In this method, the body of the parent breaks into small pieces called fragments, and each fragment grows up to become a new plant. Fragmentation of parent body occurs when they are matured. If water and nutrients are available, the algae will grow and multiply rapidly by fragmentation. If this process continues, it will cover a large area in a very short period of time. Next asexual reproduction method is spore formation. Some fungus like a bread mold reproduces asexually by spore formation. Spores that are small spherical bodies having a thick protective wall that protects them from unfavorable conditions. When the favorable conditions arrive, the spore bursts and germinate to develop into new plants. Spores are very light, asexually reproducing bodies which can be carried over a long distance by air or wind. Some other plants like mosses and ferns also reproduce by spore formation in the underside of their leaves. Sexual reproduction. Flowers are the reproductive part of a plant. They help the plants in sexual reproduction and producing fruits and seeds. In sexual reproduction, a male cell is produced by the male part of a flower which fuses with a female cell produced by the female part of the flower. These cells are called gametes, which when combined form a zygote by the process called fertilization. Parts of a flower. The main parts of a flower are sepals. Sepals are the green leaf-like outermost circle of the flower. All the sepals are together referred to as calyx. Next one, petals. These are the colorful and most attractive part of the flower. These lie inside the sepals. All the petals together referred to as corolla. These are attract insect for pollination. Next one is stamen. It is a male reproductive part of a plant. These are the little stalks with a swollen top and lies inside the ring of petals. Stamen is made up of two parts. They are filament and anther. Stalk of stamen is called filament and the swollen part of the stamen is called anther. Next one, pistil. Pistil is a female reproductive part of a flower that lies in the center of a flower. It consists of mainly three parts: stigma, style and ovary. The top part of the pistil is called stigma. It receives the pollen grains from the anther during pollination. The middle part of the pistil is a tube-like structure called style, which connects stigma to the ovary. The swollen bottom part of the pistil is called ovary. Ovary makes ovules and store them. These ovules contain female sex cells called egg cell. It is a female gamete of a flower. Pistil is also called carpel. On the basis of the type of reproductive organs present in a flower, the flowers are of two types. They are unisexual flower and bisexual flower. Unisexual flower means the flower which contains only one reproductive organ, either male or female. These are called unisexual flowers. These are also called incomplete flower. Example, papaya, watermelon, corn, cucumber, etc. Next one is bisexual flower. The flower that contains both reproductive parts, male and female parts, in a single flower are called a bisexual flower. These are also termed as complete flower. Example, rose, mustard, hibiscus, etc. Next is the functions of a flower. The function of a flower is to make male and female gametes and also to ensure that fertilization would take place for the seed formation. During sexual reproduction, male and female gamete fuse to form the zygote. Next is the pollination. What is pollination? The transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a stamen to the stigma of a pistil is called pollination. Pollination takes place in two different ways. They are self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination means when the pollen grains from the anther of one flower reaches to the stigma of the same flower. It is called self-pollination. Self-pollination generally occurs in bisexual flower. Next one is cross-pollination. When the pollen grains from the anther of a flower or of a plant are transferred to the stigma of a flower of the same plant or that of a different plant of the same kind, the process is called cross-pollination. This transfer to another plant is mediated by insects, wind, water, animals, birds, etc. There are various agents for pollination. The process of pollination is carried out by some external agencies like wind, water, insects, birds, etc. These are called agents of pollination. Next, fertilization. The process in which the male gamete fuses with the female gamete to form a new cell. That is called a zygote. This process is called a fertilization. After the fertilization, the ovary grows into fruit and the ovule develops into the seeds. The outer parts of the flower, that is petals, sepals and stamen, become dry and fall off. Stigma and style also fall off leaving ovary on the receptacle. The zygote inside the ovary gets its food from the ovule and grows by cell division to form an embryo. Parts of the ovule develop into seed covering or seed coat. Fruits are the ripened ovary of a flower which protects the seed. Some fruits are fleshy and juicy. Example mango, apple and orange. While some are hard like almond and walnuts. Next is seed dispersal. Seeds are developed from the ovule. Seeds contain an embryo enclosed in a protective seed coat. Plants produce a large number of seeds. When these seeds fall down, they start growing. If a large number of seeds falls on the same place, they will not get enough space for water and light and will not develop into a healthy plant. Thus, the seeds are moved away by some external agencies to far off places. The process by which the seeds are scattered to different places, that is called dispersal. The seeds and fruits are dispersed away through various agencies like wind, water, birds and some animals. Sometimes seed dispersal takes place naturally by the explosion or bursting of fruits. Seed dispersing agents: wind, water, animals, birds and humans are the dispersing agent of seeds. These are dispersal by wind or air. The seeds that are very light and have wing or hair-like structure on them, they are easily carried away by the blowing wind. Example, seeds of a maple drumstick have wings. Seeds of oak have hairs on them. Cotton seed also possess hairs on them. While seeds of grasses, orchids, begonia are very small and light. These seeds can be easily carried away by the wind and dispersed away from their natural habitat. Dispersal by water. The seeds of some plants that have an outer fibrous or spongy covering that are dispersed through water. They have the ability to float in the water and drift along with its flow. Example, seeds of water lily, lotus and coconut. These are dispersed through water. Next, dispersal by birds. The birds eat fruits along with seeds. These seeds have hard outer covering. The seeds are dispersed to some other place through the bird's fecus. The digestive enzyme present in the digestive system of birds help in dissolving the hard seed coat and when they are released or excreting along with the fecus, they germinate. Example, neem seeds are dispersed by the bird's fecus. Dispersal by animals. Some seeds have hooks or spines which get attached to the fur or body of the grazing animals. When these animals move to a distant place, the seeds get dispersed. Example, fruit of Sandibium. These plants are covered by numerous hooks which attach to the animal's fur and are dispersed with them. Along with the fruits, seeds also get dispersed. Next, dispersal by explosion or bursting of fruits. Sometimes fruits mature and a strain is produced in their walls. This produces a sudden jerk, causing fruits to break open, thus allowing the seeds to scatter far away from their parent plants. Due to the explosion of fruit, the seeds are thrown away from the plant with a great force in all directions. Example, castor plant bursts suddenly with a jerk and scatters the seeds far away from the parent plant. Similarly, fruits of balsam is also dispersed through the explosion mechanism. What are the benefits of seed dispersals? Seed dispersal avoids overcrowding of young plants around their parent plants. It helps in preventing competition between the plants and its own seedlings for sunlight, water, and minerals. One of the benefits of seed dispersal is that it enables a plant to grow into new habitats for wider distribution and provides them with a better chance of survival. Let us recall. All organisms multiply or reproduce their own kind. In plants, there are two modes of reproduction, asexual and sexual. There are several methods of asexual reproduction such as fragmentation, budding, spore formation, and vegetative propagation. Sexual reproduction involves the fusion of male and female gametes. In vegetative propagation, new plants are produced from different vegetative parts such as leaves, stems, and roots. Flower is a reproductive part of a plant. A flower may be unisexual with either the male or the female reproductive parts. A bisexual flower has both the male and the female reproductive parts. The male gametes are found inside the pollen grains and the female gametes are found in the ovule. Pollination is a process of transfer of pollen grain from the anther of one flower to the stigma of the same or another flower. Pollination is of two types, self-pollination and cross-pollination. In self-pollination, pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma of the same flower. In cross-pollination, pollen grains are transferred from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of the same kind. Pollination takes place in plants with the help of wind, water, and insects. The fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. Fertilized egg is called zygote. Zygote develops into an embryo. Fruit is a mature ovary, whereas ovule develops into a seed which contains the developing embryo. Seed dispersal is aided by wind, water, and animals. Seed dispersal helps in the plants to prevent overcrowding, avoid competition for sunlight, water, and minerals, and invade new habitats. I hope you understood this lesson. Thank you.